He is a future first ballot Hall of Famer enjoying the All-Star game for the very last time. Justin Verlander, who recently announced that this will be it. He's going to come back and pitch for the Tigers, but he's ending his career. He's won 3 Cy Youngs. You can make the argument, if you like to argue, which some people say I like to argue, he should have won 6 Cy Youngs. The great Justin Verlander up on the Sub with us live. We were in the commercial break, and we're baseball nerds, you know. We're sharing our favorite Justin Verlander stories. We should be interviewing you, but let's really quickly give what's your favorite Justin Verlander?
The highlight package gave me flashbacks of the devastating curveball. And I'll tell my kids, when you go into the Hall of Fame, I got a knockoff of this guy right here. I'm 1 for 10 with 4 punch-outs, but the one hit is off the signature curveball. You fooled me. I literally tried to jump out of the box. Last second, I literally just throw my bat at it. That was your first hit? A little knock through the 6 hole.
I love that. Mine was when Eric Ibar tried to drop a bunt down. You were throwing a no-hitter, and you didn't get a hit, but you pointed at him in the dugout, and you were like, next time, right here.
It's actually not why I was mad at him, though. So we got in a rundown. He ended up making it to third base. Still hadn't given up a hit yet. And we got in a rundown between third and home, and he threw an elbow at me when I was going to catch it. Don Kelly I got caught up in the rundown, which I did not want. I don't want to be in the. Keep the ball away from me. But I ended up being in it, and DK goes to throw me a ball, and it was a little errant, so I'm going to get it, and he kind of like. Hit me with a little elbow, and that's what I was pissed about. It was a 1-0 game, I think, or 2-0.
Great game.
So the bunt was like, you know, was I happy about it? No, but like they're also trying to win a ball game. It was the little elbow, and Eric played with me after in Detroit. We played together, so he knows. He knows why.
All right, my favorite. It's not even a moment. I guess the no-hitters I love because I remember, like around the first no-hitter, I spent a lot of time talking with you. And I said, so when do you start thinking no-hitter? You go, when I'm putting my spikes on. I mean, that's him. That was the mindset of Justin Verlander. So the mindset, where did that come from? Like, I'm throwing a no-no every game.
I don't know. That was just the right time. You know, there was a run there in like 2011-12 where it seemed like quite often no-hitters were a possibility. There, you know, it was a lot of time. It seemed like a lot of starts. It was like you look up and it was 5 or 6 innings of no hits or 1 hit, and then a bunch of them ended up being 8 or 9, and then converted 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, you know, that wasn't necessarily. I don't know if that was actually my mentality. I like, you know, maybe a little cocky kid, probably, sure.
Yeah, probably, but that was good. That made you
you know,
great.
I needed it. Yeah, I agree. But there's the love of the competition, man. Like, you know, I'm not giving up a hit. I don't care who you are, and I guess that's the mentality I needed at the time.
We may not get you back because Dan's going to take you for a little bit here. I know once he starts going pitching, we may not get you back.
You've announced that this is it for you.
Yeah.
Have you come to grips with that, and do you hope to pitch again this year?
Well, so I certainly hope to pitch again this year. It's just become pretty obvious to me in dealing with this injury. You know, it's like I'm plugging holes in a leaky boat. Something new keeps popping up, and the game's changed so much too. I'm sitting here watching it, and really the things that are left to me for me to accomplish would be 300 wins would be a dream, 4,000 strikeouts, and those are I would need like 2.5 healthy seasons of good pitching to do that, and you know, that's even saying, you know, I get used the way starting pitching used to get used, which isn't happening anymore. So. You know, I have to take all that into account. I think one thing I've been good at in my career is being pretty objective with myself, whether that's on the field or off. You know, you always have to self-evaluate and be very realistic. Am I good? Am I not good? And what can I do to fix it? And so when I'm objective with myself right now, and as this injury started to linger on, and I looked in the mirror, it just became more and more obvious to me that the you know, the signs are there, the writing's on the wall, and this is time. And you know, I'm getting the time with the family, and you know, all that goes through your mind, and the decision was kind of easy. I'm in a good place about it now.
Best game you ever pitched?
Man, I don't know. I mean, some of the no-hitters were pretty awesome. I really look back and think about some of the playoff games, some of the Game 5s in Oakland, the playoff series against the Yankees, where, you know, back-to-back games. I think I went 9 the first game and then 8 the next one, and I remember kind of like how I adapted those 2 games back-to-back against a great lineup, and how I pitched a little bit differently and how it worked. You know, obviously it worked, so that makes it great. I can't pick just one though, but those are probably, you know, the third no-hitter I think for me was talking about like 11 and 12, like I came so close to the third one so many times, and the number of guys that have thrown 3 versus 2 gets really small. So I really wanted that, and coming so close and failing a few times was really a gut wrench for me. So when I finally got over that hump, that was a big one for me.
Do guys get to adapt today? Like you talked about, pitched 9 innings, then came back 8 innings against the same team. With all the analytics, all the information that's given to you guys, do they get that feel to adapt like you did?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think it's just harder. The starting pitchers are asked to do things differently now. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's just kind of where the game's at. I think they want guys, teams want and push and urge their players to go out there and give their absolute best stuff, which is weird to say that there was a time when I was not giving my absolute best stuff. I think I was giving better location, and it warranted me a longer leash and got me deeper in the game, so I always thought it was worth it. But, now it's like, we need your best stuff. We need you to get as many swing and misses as we can, and we're going to ride you 2 times through the lineup, and then the first sign of trouble, 3rd time through, we're probably going to go to the bullpen. We have an extra bullpen arm that we didn't used to have. They announced a new roster spot, so the bullpen's usually fresher, so they don't need the starting pitcher to go as deep in games to cover the bullpen as much. It's just a different game. I do think, don't get me wrong, I say all that, the best guys, absolutely, within what they're required to do, will adapt. Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, you're seeing Mizorowski come, like these guys will adapt, and they will figure out different ways to get guys out because they are going to be the best of their generation. But it's just going to be different. It's not going to be, how can I get you out? I'm going to face you 8 times in a row. It's going to be, I'm going to face you 2.5, 3 times this time, and maybe 2 next time.
It's interesting that you say that, because when I think of, especially Hall of Fame pitchers, I think of CeCe, I think of Kershaw, I think of a lot of pitchers that along the way, they had to adapt. They had to reinvent themselves a couple times. I don't think that when I think about your game. I feel like you were somewhat the same type of pitcher from start to finish. Would you say you had to adapt multiple times?
I couldn't. I almost completely disagree. I went through so many iterations. What I think of iterations, I think when you watch me pitch, I think obviously there are some mechanical things.
I see power pitcher from the beginning to the end.
Yes, I agree. But like the way I did it, the way I went about it, the way
he's 1 for 10 off you. So don't
the way my mechanics worked, like my body changed. Your body changes. The game changes. The baseball changed. Like there's so many things that went in a 20-year career.
How did the baseball
so different
change
from then till now?
Right.
How did the baseball change?
Well, I mean, thanks for that, Harold. Well, look, I think it's no secret. There's enough data out now. The ball flies more than it used to. And it changed in 2015 and 16. What that allowed guys to do was a lot more guys were able to hit home runs. And that's fine. It's the game that we live in. But when that starts happening and homers start leaving at a little bit of a higher rate, now I have to pitch for swing and miss. So where Harold, if you were to come up a long time ago, your first at bat, if it's not a big spot in the game, it's 2 outs, nobody on. I'll give you your single.
Yeah.
I'm going to locate a heater down and away. But if you can now clip that backside, that changes the dynamic, and now I have to worry a little bit more about swing and miss, and that's where you see, I think, a lot of pitchers now with stuff and how they're attacking hitters, which is also why it's hard for starting pitchers to go more times through the lineup, because now I have to show you my hand earlier in the game.
Right.
I'm showing you how I want to get you out your first time. I'm not going to my D plan, because I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up a homer.
You need the whole court in the locker room, man. I can just see all these young pitchers feeding around you.
It's incredible.
That's great.
It's also really hard to throw no-hitters in modern baseball, because broadcasters apparently can jinx no-hitters. I'm going to let you be the judge of this before we say goodbye to you. Do broadcasters have the ability to jinx no-hitters?
Please say he does.
I think if you're not covering the game, if you're not like the play-by-play guy for that game, I think you're good.
All right, there we go. Thank you,
but
America.
if you are working the game, if you're that guy, like the Tigers broadcaster, and I'm throwing it, like, he needs to dance around it.
Okay.
But what about if it's a live look-in and Greg Amsinger says...
I get my answer. That's all I got.
The great Justin Verlander joining us here on the National Pregame Show. Thank you so much for clearing that up.